What happens when the thing you've barely dared to dream for actually comes true? How does it change you when what you've been believing for and almost given up hope on finally becomes reality? The Redefining Possible podcast spotlights guests with stories of insurmountable odds who have witnessed the impossible become possible with God. Welcome to Redefining Possible. I'm your host, Peyton Hoffman, and joining me today virtually is my dear friend, co-founder of EquipHer, YouVersion Bible App ambassador to Italy, and partner at Pasch Group, Carrie Pasch. Carrie, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. Thank you. I'm so excited to be here today on Redefining Possible.
Oh my gosh. Your story, first of all, thank you for being here. Your story is, in so many ways, a testament to what is possible with God. I mean, in every avenue of your story. We are going to have you back to share more of it. But for today's episode, I want to specifically focus around your career journey, because what the Lord has done in that is completely mind-blowing, honestly. So for those who don't know you, maybe haven't known you through, your work in the tech world, can you give folks a little background on just your career journey? And then we'll talk about where it is now and how different it is.
Yeah, sure. So I started in the automotive space actually about 15 plus years ago, and that's where I first met you.
Yes.
So we go way back.
Way back.
And yes, my husband and I own a digital marketing agency. And my primary role over the past 15 years for our agency was actually the director of events. So I was predominantly responsible for hosting our conferences each year. We had 2 conferences, we still do. And working with the sponsors, the dealer attendees, the speakers, organizing all the little details. And it's been really amazing to see how God has used that part of my journey, in working in the secular space for helping to build and use my gifts towards the kingdom today. It's something I never thought I would be doing, yet here we are, and it's happening. So it's pretty exciting. It's just amazing to see how God shapes and molds you.
I love that you're already going there, because that's exactly where I'm going in my mind. I'm just so excited. It's what, I mean, so okay, your husband, Brian, whom we love,
Yep.
is Italian. Okay, so let's talk about how, because you are the global ambassador for the YouVersion app, Bible app, for those who are not familiar with it. I think over 1 billion people have downloaded it. So probably everyone listening and watching is familiar with it. But for those who may not have downloaded it before.
I hope so. If not, download it today.
Download it. It's free. Get yourself the Bible app. But you are the global
That's right.
ambassador for Italy, but you're American. So let's start with you didn't grow up speaking Italian. I just kind of want to level set with everyone. This is not something that was a part of your background. Talk to us a little bit about
Correct.
how that came about.
Absolutely. Not only did I not grow up speaking Italian, but I was never even one to be proficient in languages.
Wow.
In
Wow.
high school, I almost failed French. Languages were just not my forte. So it is mind blowing to me that I do speak Italian today, but pretty much the story starts with about 8 years ago. God put it on my heart to learn the Italian language. And I thought it was because we love Italy. My husband has extended family there. We were married there. We just have like a love for the country.
Right.
And so I went with it. I gave God my yes. And I was like, okay, I'm going to learn the language. That makes sense. But I became really almost obsessed with mastering the language. Like I was really motivated to take my virtual lessons 3 times a week, no matter where I was traveling in the world. And I have a very heavy travel schedule.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just became so passionate about it. And I didn't really understand the why.
Yeah.
And I don't know if there's anyone listening today that is in that same space.
Mm-hmm.
You have this drive, this passion inside of your heart, but you don't really know why. And, maybe the answer and the reasoning behind it is just unclear.
Mm.
Well, I had that same feeling. And so I just went with it. And it wasn't until about 5 years, I don't know, maybe even 7 years into my journey of
Wow.
learning the language. And by that point, I was becoming really proficient in it, that I got connected with the YouVersion team, the YouVersion Bible
Wow.
App team.
Wow.
And at that time, they were focused on growing their users and their content in Italy. And so they said, "Would you be interested in creating devotional content in Italian for us? Because like we want to accelerate that." And I was like, "Me? You want me? I don't know if I could do this, but yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say no. Like, how many of you are like that? You can't say no to an opportunity like that." So I said yes. And I was like, gosh, I don't know how I'm going to do this, but God will help me. And
Hmm.
sure enough, he did. And I started creating content in Italian for the Bible app. And that was for about 2 years.
Mm.
And then around the 2 year mark, they approached me and they asked me if I would be interested in becoming their global representative in Italy for the Bible app. And again, I was like mind blown. I was like, I don't even know what this means, but yes, like yes, like I'll do it. And so that's how I stepped into that role. And again, I felt not equipped.
Mm.
I didn't even really fully understand it. And I also was just like, I don't even fully speak perfect Italian,
Right.
like I'm
Right.
not an Italian born bred woman, but obviously this is happening for a reason, even though I can't see it yet. And
Mm.
so I just said yes. I was just like, absolutely. And God equipped me. And over the past few years, I've been speaking at churches and conferences in Italy, of course, in Italian. I've had my books translated into Italian. I do devotional plans on the
Yeah.
YouVersion Bible app in Italian, and it's just been a wild and crazy ride.
Uh,
But there's just nothing that God can't do when you give Him your yes,
yeah.
and it's my
And
story is the true testament to that.
I love that so much. I especially love that you had that nudge to learn Italian. You thought it was for one
Yeah.
reason, just because of,
Yep.
Brian's family, and then also just you have a love for Italy anyway. But
Yeah.
there was never this plan to go. I mean, you
No.
never, because I know you, I can say this, you never planned to speak on a stage in Italian. Like that was never a thought.
If you were to tell me that, like, even 10 years ago, I'd be like, "You are nuts.
Like, no
You're
way.
crazy." But that's also part of it, and that also made me realize that, like, we sometimes wish we had the full picture and the full
Right.
vision,
Yeah.
but we can't handle it. Like,
Right.
if God
Yeah.
dropped the full vision of what I would be doing today into
Yeah.
my brain 10 years ago, I would probably be so paralyzed in
Uh,
insecurity and fear that I wouldn't be able to even move, to like take the next step to learn the language.
mm,
So it's just proves that like we
yeah,
can't handle everything he has for
it's
us,
true.
but we do know that everything he has for us is good.
It's good. I know.
So,
I had chills just hearing that. Like, I think I mean, not only do I feel like that's for me, but I think that piece right there is like, if you knew the whole plan, because you and I are planners. Like, we need to openly admit that we are planners. We love a
100%.
plan. We like a
Yep.
plan. A plan is nice. And I think a lot of people watching and listening, we like a plan. We like to know, oh, we're going to do this, and then we're going to do this, and then we're going to do this. And the Lord just gives you the first step. Like, he didn't give you
Yeah.
this whole plan. And I want to call out as well, you were still working in,
Yeah.
secular business, learning this on the side, doing like the night courses, the online
Yep.
courses,
Yep.
going to Italy, immersing yourself there for weeks at a time. Like, you worked at your cousin, well, your cousin's
Yeah.
coffee shop to learn, like,
100%.
full immersion. Yeah, I mean, you just took these steps of, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it with excellence, and I'm going to do it all the way. And now,
Yeah.
like, the Lord is using it where you're actually meeting with folks in Italy that, men and women that want to be, have their content on the YouVersion Bible app, and they come and meet with you. They submit their content to you, which
Course. Yeah. And
is
it's just
wild.
amazing because it is, and it's like it's another reinforcement on how everything is aligned with his timing.
Yeah.
You know, there were so many parts to my language journey where I wanted to be fluent tomorrow. You know, like I was like, God, like I'm tripping up and stumbling, and like here I am memorizing all it. Like, why can't I just be like, like there are those times where you
Mm.
want to see the end result right away. We don't
Yes.
want to wait.
Yes.
We want immediate results. And I am the first person to say I am an immediate gratification person. But there's also so much beauty in the process.
Yeah.
And there's that dependency that you just, because you keep learning, I really need to depend on God. Like,
Yeah.
I can't do this on my own. This is so out of my
Mm.
capacity that I do need him. And so it just becomes this like this longer walk, this steady
Mm.
journey instead of necessarily running a super fast sprint race,
No.
and you kind of just learn to find the joy in the journey
Journey.
and like, oh yeah, I don't want this to end. Like, I just want this to keep going and
Yeah.
seeing what's gonna evolve and bloom and come out of
Yeah.
this because it's exciting.
I love it. It's like looking at the Lord and being like, God, what do you want to do today? Like, what are we doing today? And that expectation. And I love that the Lord led you to that place. And I love, like you just said, that this has really taught you, hey, that dependency on the Lord. What else have you learned about yourself just kind of going through this journey? Because it just, again, wasn't on a vision board, wasn't on any, like, this
No.
just
Yeah.
wasn't even a dream.
No. Yeah, I think that I'm constantly in a state or in this
Mhm.
tension of feeling excited, yet totally overwhelmed by
Wow. Yeah.
like, why me, God?
Okay.
Like, why? Like I kind of always get that I don't
Mm.
understand it,
Yeah. Yeah.
like, I'm a kid. I tell everybody, like, I'm still learning Italian,
Yeah.
like, just
Yeah.
like, I'll never stop learning. There are
Right.
always gonna be
Right.
words I'm always learning. So, just proves, like, I'm still an Italian student, why me? And I think that the best answer I can come up with, and I hope this is helping somebody
Yeah.
today, is because I'm available.
Yes.
And when you're
Yeah.
available, when you raise your hand and you
Mm.
say, "Yes, like, God, use me,"
Mhm.
and you just wholeheartedly trust him, there is no end there of what he can do through you.
Oh, it's so good.
And I constantly just learning those little things that he's doing through me that
Yeah.
I just never could have thought were possible for myself.
Yeah.
And it's just it gives me such great purpose.
Mm.
And really what I even didn't know is that this YouVersion role and even writing content for the
Mhm.
app in Italian has defined me. It's brought a
Wow.
purpose to my life. It
Wow.
made me realize, "Oh my goodness, Carrie, like, no, he had you learning that language for 7 years
Mhm.
because of right now.
Mm.
Like, because now you need to
Yeah.
be serving that country.
Yeah.
You need to be serving those people,
Yeah.
and that's where God needs you on the map."
Mm.
And so, it's more than a language. It's such a
Yeah.
purpose in my life. And so that is really what I
Wow.
have learned through this journey.
I mean,
Yeah.
I have chills. I like, again, just the chill bumps that are up and down my arms right now. It's so beautiful too. And what I love, even just hearing you talk about this, is that the Lord specifically used language as a thing to redefine
Yep.
you. And you said
A
earlier,
weakness
yeah,
of
what
mine.
you perceived as a
Yeah,
weakness. So that is the only
correct.
way would be for it to be with him. Like the only way this would be
That's so good,
successful.
and
Yeah.
you know what? I never even fully wrapped my head
Yeah.
around that angle. That's so good.
It's true because it's like he's going to use the thing that in our humanness is such a weakness to
Yep,
show that he is strong.
yep,
And so
yep.
he's like, hey, I'm going to take this thing you think you can't do. And not only are you going to do it,
Yeah,
but you're going to do it in such a way that it's going to show off for God.
yeah, yeah.
And it's so great. And you were willing, like you said, you were not only available, but you were willing to, because language,
Yes.
again, like you're coming to it from I'm not really that great at languages, like perspective.
No.
But you're like, okay, I'm
Yep.
going to try. And that's, I think, just giving that yes of like, I'm going to try. I'm going to take the
Yeah,
first
and I
step.
think exactly, and I think that's just maybe a little bit of a spirit I have in me.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like that entrepreneurial spirit that I have of like, I'm not scared to take risks, so I'm not scared to test something, see if it sticks. If it doesn't, okay, what do we learn? How can we move on? But I think that, like, again, when it comes to God,
Yeah.
we know things. We know He's a good God.
Yeah.
We know He has a good plan for our lives. We know He can transform any situation into
Yeah.
good for those who love
Yes.
Him.
Come on.
So just with those three things alone, if I told you that and you didn't even know God, and I said, like, would you follow a God like that? I mean, why would you say no?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So just
Mm.
knowing the facts about who our God is, and those are just
Yes.
three,
Yes.
like, why would we be
Yeah.
scared to give God our yes?
So good.
So it's just, yeah, I every day I always say, God, you already have my yes. I
Yeah.
don't even know what you're gonna do today, but
The-
you
you got
got
you
my
got the
yes.
yes. Yeah, my day is available for
Yep,
you. You've got my yes.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yep,
And there's so much surrender in that. I mean, I've been in that place in season where I feel like I've been surrendering a lot over to the Lord. And it's
mm,
so beautiful because his ideas and his dreams are so much bigger than ours. And,
so much
like it is
bigger.
for you with
Yeah.
this wasn't even a dream because but it was a dream for the Lord.
It's
It's like it was
yeah,
his dream.
yeah,
It just wasn't something we
yeah,
knew to even dream for. So like he's got dreams for you that
right,
you can't even think up. Like more than we can ask,
right.
think, or imagine, like truly more than you could imagine.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
love that. And
yeah,
I love how the Lord's even bringing your director of events role of the past into your current reality through
yeah,
EquipHer, which is a whole nother aspect of where, in parallel, as you're learning Italian, you
yep,
also were
yeah.
co-founding. I just want people to know, like you're learning Italian, you're working in the secular world, still a partner at Pasch Group, but also you were a little busy for a bit. You're also
I was.
co-founding this EquipHer with Wendy, this incredible
Yes.
conference, and bigger than a conference, but it started as a conference, Christian conference
Yep.
for women in leadership. So talk to me about
Yeah.
how that came about, because that was all sort of happening in parallel in your life.
Yeah. Exactly. So another piece of my story that has also just taught me the power of divine
Yeah.
appointments. And I have so many divine appointments in my life. But pretty much, if I had to summarize what a divine appointment is, it's when you have a meet or have a connection with somebody that otherwise makes no
Right.
sense. Like you never should have really met the person,
Yeah.
but God needed it to happen
Yes.
and made it happen.
Yes.
And that's exactly how story with me and Pastor Wendy
Yeah.
Perez, who co-leads Church LV in Las Vegas. Let me reemphasize that in Las
In
Vegas.
Las Vegas.
And I live in Florida.
Yes.
So
Yes.
completely separate in parts of the
Yeah.
country. And we were both part of a Christian ministry website,
Mhm.
like a platform, I would say. And I, of course, saw that she was on it, and I had heard her speak years
Oh,
ago. And
wow.
I just remember when I heard her preach at a church, she had such a great impact on me as an amazing communicator. I
Yeah.
remember saying to myself, I want to preach like that. Like if I
Wow.
ever, like get on stage one day, that's what I wanted. Like she was fantastic.
Yeah.
And so here we are years later on this platform and she's on there and I was just like, she was giving coaching lessons on communication and I was like, wow, it
Mm.
would be so great to have those, just
Yeah.
amazing tips of excellence from her. But I feel kind of strange reaching out. Like, what am I gonna say? Hey, I think you're such a great preacher. Like,
You're like,
have you ever had those moments of like, I'm not gonna embarrass myself. What am I gonna say?
well, you're
Like,
like, where do I start? Like, do I say, oh, I saw you preach this one
yeah,
time. Do you remember many years ago when
yeah, like
I?
I saw you 7 years ago, and here I am. No. So I hesitated for weeks, and I was like, "No, I'm not gonna make a fool of myself, Carrie." And then, at a certain point, my husband was just like, "Will you just send her a message? Like, what's the worst thing that can happen?" And I was like, "She doesn't answer." And he's like, "Great." And so she doesn't answer. And I'm like, "Okay, fine. You're right." So I sent the message and she immediately
Of
responded
course she
and
did.
we
Yeah.
started I know. And then we started Zoom sessions together with her
Yeah.
coaching program. And
Love
then
that.
before we knew it, we were just like complete fast friends and
Uh,
talking more regularly outside of the Zoom. But I remember one of our Zoom sessions, because I was giving her a little bit of my background,
mhm,
and I said to her specifically, I've just learned that, especially in the secular space,
mhm,
the more responsibility you carry, the more, you climb the ladder and you become successful, you
mm.
travel more, you just have that weight of leadership on your
Yeah.
shoulders, the lonelier it gets.
Wow.
And,
Wow.
especially for me, I
Mm.
felt, the hardness of women.
Yeah.
I felt, women are so competitive with each other. They're always out to bring each other
Mm,
down. They're never the experience I had, like it
mhm,
was rare to find a group of
mhm.
women of supporting and encouraging.
Yeah.
And the more I was stepping into my faith, I was like, am I the only Christian out here? Like I just felt like I
Yeah.
alone even
Yeah.
more. And so I explained that to Wendy and I said, it would just be really amazing if there was a conference specifically geared to Christian women in business where
Mm,
they know they can be encouraged and equipped, but at the same time, find community with each other and
mhm,
just know they have a group of like minded women that share the same
mm.
values. And she was like, "Let's try it. Let's do it." And I almost fell off my chair. I was like, "Wait, what? Like, is this really happening?" She's wants to, co-host an event with me.
Yeah.
And so here we are, me in the event space, Um, so it like came so natural for me to plan an event and we
Absolutely.
hosted it. Such a great experience for the speakers, for the women
Yeah.
who attended, obviously for us. And this year we celebrated our fourth EquipHer conference. And it's just incredible to see how not only it's growing each year,
Mhm.
but just how the women, it's satisfying such a void
It
in these women,
is. It
the hearts
is.
of the, and it really is a gap in
Yeah.
ministry on serving the Christian businesswoman.
Mhm.
And so that has been just so amazing for me.
Yeah.
It again gives me this purpose in my
Yeah.
life to use the skills, yes, of event planning and all that for the kingdom. But I've also been learning recently that serving women in this way, in a way that I didn't have years ago, is like therapeutic for me. Like
Yes.
it's
Wow.
rewarding to me. It serves my heart too.
Yeah.
It's
Mm.
almost like maybe like a little healing
Healing. That's
almost
what I was
because
thinking. Yeah.
something I was missing. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, and it's so amazing. And I'm laughing hearing this. I mean, I've heard this story before, but every time I'm just, it makes me laugh because knowing Wendy, Pastor Wendy Perez, and the go-getter that she
Yes.
is, it is no surprise that she was like, let's do it. Like, let's just jump in.
I
Let's
know.
try it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I know
Why not?
you, and I know you were just like throwing out an idea of like, wouldn't it be great if this was
Right.
something
Right.
somebody else did? know?
Right.
Not thinking, wouldn't this be great if it was something I did? So,
Yeah.
and I love that
And it was
yeah,
like a risk on both of like a big
yes.
step of faith on both of our sides. I explained, how I kind of was doing that, but also from her point
Mhm.
of view, like she is a full-time
Yeah.
pastor. They're having events all the time
Mhm.
and every Sunday church service. There's so much going on at their
Mhm.
church and they are just like growing, 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 growing,
Yes,
growing. So
yes.
for her to even take that step of faith on something not only completely new, but something completely like
Mm,
outside the walls of her church,
yeah,
I give her so much credit for that. And
completely.
she just really obviously felt the call of the Holy Spirit to, you know, say yes to
Yeah,
this.
yeah. And
So
I've been a part of it. For those who are listening and watching, I've been a part of EquipHer. I've come every year. So
yes, you
since year
have.
one, and I pull something from it every year. I think this year for me, I am now my coach Holly Joe, I met through EquipHer. So I
I
know.
love that.
So that's
That like
incredible.
warms my heart.
It's I don't even think I told you that yet. So that's she's amazing. Shout out to Holly Joe. We love her. And
She is
I met her
amazing.
through EquipHer this year. She was a speaker.
Love it.
And there's so
Yep.
many women, there's women that come that remember me from the first year They're like, oh, I got your book.
Mm,
I want you to know my group's been doing it as a Bible study.
yeah,
We've been doing, there's just so many
yeah,
beautiful connections that have come through
yep,
that conference specifically. And it is all
yep,
women in business, that Christian women in business and Christian women in
yep,
leadership. And you dive into the real life, like what it really
yeah,
is. And it's so, for me, it's so encouraging to see women that are, everyone's journey is different, but to see women that are out there balancing kids and work, or
yeah,
kids and
I
work and,
know.
corporate work and then ministry, and, that are not just bivocational, but like trivocational, and, doing multiple
Exactly.
types of things, and just the way the Lord is doing that. And then also through it over the years, you and Wendy have brought women from Italy over.
Yes,
So
and
that's crazy.
it's and you know what's crazy? It's so crazy, this part of the story with EquipHer, and I still feel like we're just in the
Oh,
middle
oh
of it.
yeah. Oh
Like
yeah.
we're still not even fully understanding the full picture with
100%.
EquipHer. And that's another super exciting part of this journey. But yes, you're 100% right. It's been incredible to see how EquipHer over the past 4 years has been impacting women also
Yeah.
in Italy, my country.
Like what?
And every year we have had women fly over from Italy to attend our conference. And each year that group of Italian women is growing.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was so interesting. But we were like, at some point, this is just interesting. I wonder, what is really happening there. Is it Italy,
Mm-hmm.
another potential location? And so about a year and a half ago, we started publishing EquipHer
Yep.
devotional
Yep.
plans on the YouVersion Bible
Yes.
app, both in English and Italian. And they have both been just so like wildly successful. And the stickiness of the ones in Italy,
Yeah.
it's been mind blowing to see.
Wow.
Women's have been messaging us. This is like exactly the message I needed to hear. We've been having
Wow.
devotional parties, like little get togethers
Mm,
and gatherings each week after we complete a devotional. People have been messaging us like, when's the next one coming out? Because now we have over 50 volumes.
yeah.
And like traction there has just been building and growing.
Ah,
And so it got to a point where we were like, I think we need to try, I think the timing is right
yeah.
to step out and try hosting EquipHer in Italy.
Mm,
And so we are hosting our first EquipHer Italy this November, November
ah,
21st in Tuscany, beautiful area of
yes.
Chianti. And I'm just like, again, so excited and so overwhelmed, because I'm like, here I am
Mm,
now bringing my favorite EquipHer, ministry event
yeah.
to my favorite
Yes.
country. And it's a bit overwhelming, but I really believe, God has a total plan for
Yeah.
it in Italy. And I'm excited for what's going to be happening in
Oh,
November,
it's
and the traction of, we already have women, signed up, and speakers and sponsors, and it's just like it's happening already. So it's crazy.
It's wild. And it's just, I mean, again, you
Wow.
couldn't have imagined. I mean, you were learning Italian, starting this
I
amazing faith
know.
conference for women in business. And then but it never was a thought of, oh, the Lord would merge these two. But he
Right.
is right now as we're recording this. I mean, you're in the last few months leading up to the very first EquipHer in Italy. And
Yep.
it's just, what is that going to become? I mean, that it's just so
I
wild.
know.
And you have women coming from America, you have women coming from Italy, you'll have translations or translators.
Yep. Yep.
If we need to go from Italian to English, we can do that. And it's just, I think it's so beautiful. It's just showing that you and Pastor Wendy have really stewarded this well in America. What he
Yeah.
gave you, both of you and your team have just really held this open-handed and really held it well. And I think this is a reward for that. I mean, this is what it believe for me, listening to it and knowing it, I believe it's a blessing for obedience is really what it feels like.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I feel totally honored
Yeah.
to be able to steward this, what we call movement for
Yeah.
God, because we have learned by now it is far more than just a
Yeah.
conference that we host every
Yeah.
year. It is really stepping into this global movement
Mm,
momentum that it has. And I just pray that, we continue to have just good discernment
hmm
through it,
hmm
because timing is everything.
Yes.
And, where okay, maybe it is a global movement, but that doesn't necessarily mean like, oh, okay, what country are we going to do next year and next
Right.
year? And,
Right.
it's not our pace, it's God's
That's
pace.
so good.
And so I think that that is really important too, to just keep reminding ourselves that when we are stewarding
Hmm
something, just keep that foot in front of the other. It's really
Yeah.
about the next step instead of, oh, what's the next season look like?
Mm,
Like it's good to dream and have vision. I am all about that.
yes.
But, in terms of our daily
Hmm
actions, I think it's very important to just stay in step with
I
his, in
agree.
tune with where, on a daily basis,
Yeah.
and he'll reveal the path to you along the way.
Yeah.
So, um,
He
yeah,
will.
it's been so
Yeah.
exciting.
I'm so excited for you. And I love the growth. And I love that. I mean, to your point, this staying in step with the Lord for this actually meant slowing down a bit and really being
Yeah,
intentional. And, it's just so important not to rush ahead of God. And that can be the temptation, I think, for a lot of us. You get a dream, you get a vision, and
100%.
you're like, go, 100 miles an hour.
Yes.
And in this instance, because it is so sacred, you're stewarding, souls in a country. You
Yep.
are
Yep.
stewarding, I mean, it is such a sacred thing what you're doing both through the
Yep.
YouVersion Bible app and through EquipHer in Italy. And I just believe the Lord has his eye on Italy right now. Like he really,
Yeah,
really is just being so intentional about who he places there,
I agree.
when he places them there. And so I just love that you and Pastor Wendy both have been very, yeah, just discerning about the when of it
Yeah,
and discerning about how to go about it. And like you said, it doesn't mean, oh, we jump immediately to a bunch of other countries next year. This is going to
right.
be step by step with the Lord, which is the way it's always been for you, which is so,
Yeah.
I love that you're continuing to do the things you've always done, you know?
Yep.
Now, how has all of this
So
changed, like just how you see yourself? I mean, this is a whole change of your life in many ways.
yeah, I know.
I mean, how has this changed how you
I
see Carrie?
Yeah, I think that it's like I said, both of these, what I call like my two ministry babies
Mhm.
between EquipHer and YouVersion, have provided a deep sense of purpose for
Mhm.
me that has really turned into like this passion for serving,
Yeah.
women and Italians in this capacity of any way that I can. So giving me the confidence in that
Mm.
has been something that I really never have experienced
Yeah.
before. A type of purpose that a role or a title in an office or a company or, money in the bank or things, they can't bring, because there still ends up being this void or
Mhm.
like, this dissatisfaction.
Mhm.
And so when you do step into a kingdom assignment,
Mhm.
and a partnership with God, it is unlike any other, like, I'm going to say like
Yeah.
role,
Yeah.
that you've ever done. And the purpose is life-giving,
Yeah.
and there's what I've also learned when you step into partnership with God is there is a grace
Yes.
that I really didn't have before when I worked in the secular space. It
Mm.
was so much stress, not that my whole role was stress, stress, stress,
Mhm.
but it was just like when you got stressed, it weighed on you.
Yes.
And,
Yes.
like it was always that go, go, go mentality. And
Mhm.
I still carry that go, go mentality with me today, but there is a grace to myself,
Yeah.
like that God that I receive, like in other words, I know God saying he's meeting me in it. And
Yes.
and I'm
Wow.
saying I'm doing whatever I can do today
Yeah.
to, in my role or in my responsibilities, and I know God will meet me in it and give me that peace
Mm.
and that grace
Mm.
in the work I'm doing.
Mm.
And so also, like, I'm gonna say, when you do kingdom work, yeah, there's a little like okay, stress, but
Mhm.
it's not the stress that I remember feeling from, 20 plus
Right.
years of work.
Right.
It's not, you know what
It's
it's
different.
hard to explain,
It's different. But
but it
yeah,
is different.
you do have a grace for it. I think that's the
Yeah,
I'm just think makes me think about my own life, and I'm thinking, yeah, because doing events are stressful. Just it doesn't matter if
yeah,
it's a wedding, doesn't matter if
yes,
it's a corporate event, like
right,
whatever it is, it's stressful. There's just a lot of moving
right,
parts, a lot of logistics. And so that's just a natural part of it. But what's
yes,
interesting is even in this, what I've seen on you, even in doing, I'll just compare events to events because that's kind of an easy comparison, but
yeah,
even doing, kingdom events, like doing EquipHer versus just doing,
yep,
events in the corporate space, I see a relaxation on you that I didn't see as
right,
your friend that I didn't see before, where I feel like you're just leaning into the Lord more and like letting him really
yeah,
carry it, which is just, that is that grace where you're still having the same number of
that's right.
things.
There's just this piece that comes with it.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I know. You know that as long as, like, I know I do my part, you
Yes.
know, because being in partnership with God doesn't mean he's just gonna come along and do all the work for you and
Great
hand
point.
everything to you on his own platter.
Yes.
I
Yes.
mean, can he do that? Sure. But it generally doesn't mean that's what
Right.
happens. You still have to take action every day. You still have to
Hmm.
be in tune to his voice where he's calling you to go. So with your steps though, he's going to meet you in it. He's
Yeah.
not going to leave you high and dry
Yeah.
and so I know that now. And
Mhm.
it when you get into a rhythm of doing that, it's a partnership that it's actually like peaceful and
Yeah.
there's a grace in your work and there's reward and purpose and fulfillment and
Yeah.
joy and all these things that I just didn't experience before.
Yeah. Well, and I know for you, learning Italian was kind of like the impossible thing, up front.
Totally.
But what about with EquipHer? Was there ever a moment that it kind of just looked like, is this actually going to come together? Is it going to happen? This feels
Yeah.
impossible. Like, tell us about that. Because I feel like people are in that space that are watching where it's like, I have this dream. I think it's the Lord, but it also looks impossible.
Yes. I think also from an event
Yeah.
planner perspective, I'm just laying this out there. No, you never have enough signups.
Yeah.
Like you're never
Yeah.
happy with the number of tickets sold. If your goal is 100 and you're at 110, you're like, I want
You're like, there
200.
could be
Like you
more.
just want more people.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yes. And when we first had our first
Mhm.
EquipHer, that was definitely one. Like, oh my gosh, are these women going to show up?
Wow, wow.
Are we really going to get women flying from wherever across the country
Mhm.
to come to this event? That was definitely a concern. Also, we say this kind of every year. Pastor Wendy and I were always like, how does this event keep getting better and better? Like,
Yeah,
we just don't
yeah,
understand it. We have insane speakers every single
it's
year. And
true.
every year we're like, okay, there's no way next year could like beat this year. Like there's just, and it ends up
It's
like each year
true.
just gets better and better. So, but again, we're always like, okay, how are we going
Mhm.
to, bring the right speakers for next
Mm.
year? And what does that look like? Who are they? And I'm telling you through divine appointments and connections and surrounding yourself with people just like EquipHer
Yeah.
is with the shared values and core, beliefs,
Mhm.
you get introduced to
Yeah.
people and it's just pretty amazing to see all the pieces of the puzzle come together, but it's just awesome to witness how like yes, I'm doing everything
Yeah.
I can to organize this event. So is Pastor Wendy. And then God meets us in it. And
Yes.
he's like, okay, here's who I need there. And
Yes.
here's who needs to be in the room.
Yes.
And so it's awesome
Mm.
to be a part of it,
I
honestly,
love
to
it. It's so
journey.
special. Yeah, and like you said, you do everything you can. I think that's such a great point that you
Yeah,
brought up earlier about how, hey, the Lord isn't necessarily going to just hand you all of this on a silver platter. Like he
no.
could have decided suddenly you'll be able to have the gift of tongues to speak Italian. Like he could
And he does do
he
that to some
yeah.
people. That's
And that
it's
happens.
not,
It totally
yeah,
happens. It's just for
correct.
you it was a different path. It was a different journey.
I think it's
Yeah.
dangerous to assume that will happen to
Right.
us, So we got to just take action
Mhm.
and go where he's calling us to go.
Yeah. And he loves to walk with us. He loves to partner with us. So whatever that step
Yes.
is, like for you, the step was, you know, Carrie, I want you to learn Italian and go and take that journey over several years where you actually became more rooted in the country, honestly. So it wasn't just about the
Yes.
language, it was about the people
So
and the
true.
country and who, you know, but you couldn't see that at the time. It's like that he had a
No.
bigger journey for you because you were going to have a bigger and ongoing, you know, use for it in that country. And so it's like, we don't want to judge the journey because we actually don't know what God's up to. Like we actually don't know how big his plans are and what he's doing with us.
So good.
You know, and with EquipHer, you and Pastor Winnie were like, let's just try it. And then now it's like, okay, 4 years later, plus you're going to launch it in Italy this year. Like your let's just try it has turned into something truly miraculous and truly beautiful. And so empowering for so many women.
Yeah. And I think EquipHer is really going to be something bigger than the US.
Yeah.
You know, I just think it has this special momentum about it. And we have big vision for it of just building a community far greater than just conferences each year. So I'm just excited to honestly be part of it, like I said before, and do everything I can to help encourage women out there.
So tell me, as we're looking forward, and the Lord has already done so much for your life, if you were to maybe sum up in like 1 or 2 sentences, just how this has redefined what's possible for your life with the Lord, like what would you say?
I would definitely say that nothing is impossible
So
with God. I've learned that. And I always say that, you know, if I had to just summarize kind of my story really quickly into a short sentence, I give God my yes every day. You know, give God your yes, because there's nothing he can't do through you. And when you are available, that's really is what he's looking for, an open, trusting heart. And that's really been the common thread to my story. You know, I said yes to starting content. I said yes to this role that I knew nothing about. I said yes to send the message to Pastor Wendy on that platform. You know, like I just continually, that's the continual theme of my story. If I had to, you know, really find that common denominator. And I really encourage others to do the same because it's transformed my life.
I love that. Oh my gosh. Okay. So for folks that are listening and watching that want to learn more about EquipHer, what you guys are doing in Italy, what you all are doing in the US, about you, how can they get in touch with you? How can they get in touch with the folks from EquipHer? All the information.
Yeah. Sure. No, I mean, you can visit equipherconference.com for more information about our 2 conferences. I have my website, carriepasch.com, but I would go to the EquipHer conference first. And then I probably update my Instagram more. So you can find me on Instagram, Carrie H. Pasch. And if you don't already use the YouVersion Bible app, please download it. And you can find devotionals and my personal devotionals on the YouVersion Bible app.
Which I'm so glad you mentioned that, because you are a published author. You've got your 2 books. How can they find the books? Are they on Amazon? How can they get those as well? Because there's so much.
The best way to purchase those would be through my website, carriepasch.com.
Great. Perfect. Because there's just so much wisdom that we can't even cram into one episode. So we're going to have you back, because we'll talk more about the books. We're going to talk more about these other things. But and you've got so much that I love. You're even able to pour out some of it through the YouVersion Bible app. It's just, I love your story. I love what the Lord is doing, what he's unfolding, what he continues to unfold, and where he continues to take you. It's just, honestly, it redefines my brain. You know, it's kind of that renewing of your mind. It just is. I feel like it's constantly renewing my mind of what God can do. And it's just so awesome. So I love you. I'm so grateful to have you here.
I love
you. Are so amazing.
Thank you so much. And I'm so proud of everything you are doing.
Girl.
You're amazing.
It's a thing. It's a thing. We love the Lord. He's just leading it day by day. But yes. Oh my goodness. Well, thank you all so much for joining us today for this episode of Redefining Possible. Again, I'm your host, Peyton Hoffman. Can't wait to see you next time.
What happens when the thing you've barely dared to dream for actually comes true? How does it change you when what you've been believing for and almost given up hope on finally becomes reality? The Redefining Possible podcast spotlights guests with stories of insurmountable odds who have witnessed the impossible become possible with God.